I'll just give a few show notes to those that are new to listening to this. You're listening. We have two websites. One is called aberrato.info. That's where I blog my daily comments, views of the media, looking at stories, trying to determine which ones are real and which ones are not so real, using my occult number BS detector, using my just quickly glancing at pictures detector. And man, you sure toss out a lot of stories that are brought before you, especially the ones on a worldwide basis. So anyway, the broadcasts are hosted at radio.aberrato.info. There are two different websites. It is confusing for some people. I did it that way specifically so the audios could be easily disseminated, collated, and imported into the various smartphones. Just made it easier for people to locate. So don't be confused. They look similar, but they're not the same. So on radio.aberrato.info, you'll see today's broadcast is episode 46, reviewing aberrato.info and perhaps some of these videos that I put on today's show. We have a chat where we do a live chat. Sometimes I look at, most times I don't. That's at radioab.chattango.com. I don't save the chat, so it's archived on another server. You can go through it if you want. Anytime you want to put a relevant link to a show that we're doing, then drop it into the comments at radio.aberrato.info. And in this case, it's episode 46. It's pretty clear. It's just a simple login. You can use any of your favorite social tracking services to log in. And that's where we obviously save those relevant notes. And if you're interested in receiving an email when the broadcast is on, when it goes live, and also when I post the archive, I send 3 emails per show usually. Then sign up at the main webpage, radio.aberrato.info, and punch in your email. I got the server working there properly, so you should get emails as we send them. You can even unsubscribe if you don't want, and I think you can even manage some of the posts. Anyway, on radio.aberrato.info, we have a pop-up player. We do stream live on a Shoutcast server that is usually working. And just about any method of broadcasting or receiving the broadcast can be done live. We also are streaming live through TuneIn to your smartphone, or you just have to type in some of the IP details of the audio server so you can listen to the show live. When we're not streaming live during the week, I just repeat all the shows. I mostly put the last week's show on high priority, so that comes through mostly, but the other 45 shows will rotate through, plus a couple other people's audios I put up that I find interesting that you might sometimes hear. That's for those that haven't figured out how to save audio to their audio devices and just want to stream, or if they have an internet-enabled car, which are becoming more and more prevalent. Maybe one day you can tune in Aberrato Radio Ab as a quick tune, because that is definitely the way things are going. Everything is going to be through the internet, all radio, all television. I would say the old methods of broadcasting are disappearing very quickly. So you would be able to put us as a radio station, I guess. And we do stream all the time. We got a few slots available, not too many. I don't have a huge server, but there's room for quite a few people to stream. I don't imagine this is ever going to become something big and huge, but if it did, we could scale it up. How, I don't know, But since this is all done for free, no charge, it's worth everything you pay for it and more. And essentially, it's just ramblings of somebody who has been awakened to the 9/11 PSYOP. How long has it been? It's been since last April. And we just go on living life free of the knowledge that not much is wrong with the world. Not much is really happening bad, as we're told. So it's really a pretty cool world that we live in if you plug your ears and close your eyes when it comes to the mass media deception devices that are out there. So anyway, what did I put on tonight's show? I put as you heard on the show opening, I always forget to comment on the show openings. I do put a little bit of thought into it. And I always forget to comment on that because I always have guests and always other people usually to talk to, and I get completely distracted, which of course is the nature of the internet. It's a completely distracting device. You come on your computer to do one thing, and I'll bet you money if you're like me, you forget why you came to it, and you have 99 things that distract you, all your various... You might have a few websites that you go to all the time, and they take you somewhere, and they take you somewhere else. Just completely distracting. And here's a distracting phone call coming in. I think I accidentally knocked it off. Where is it here? Here we go. I think this is Mr. Allen.
You would be correct.
How are you
What's
tonight,
Tim?
Marcus? It's been a long time.
It has been a long time.
Good to hear from you.
Same here, Tim.
Somebody asked me about you the other day, and I said, I think Marcus got on my first call, maybe the first minute. So we have a history already. And it's just kind of funny because everyone I talk to tosses different people's names around. What do you think of this guy? What do you think of that guy? And I always say this 9/11 business that I've got into and then you've been into for a long time is really a nest of vipers. And you just don't know who's real, who's not, who to trust, who's not. And in the end, you can't agree with everybody about everything. But I don't really think it's worth getting into big fights with different people because I think everyone has something to offer, and especially the people that stay in it like yourself and like Fetzer and like Simon Shack. They're all in it for a reason, paid or unpaid. I don't think we should just toss each other to the side just because there's a segment we disagree with. So that's how I defend you sometimes, and maybe you defend me on other occasions.
I defend you because on my private site, which I now charge for, I have a "Who can you trust?" I think section in the site, and you're one of the 7 people I have right now, and I just deleted a person a couple weeks ago. So, and if it wasn't for your blog posts, there wouldn't be much activity going on with the 7 people who I think I can trust because, man, you just pump it out, which is fantastic. I'm not kidding. I think that's fantastic. You're definitely committed to blogging. That is for sure. No doubt about it.
Well, I kind of enjoy it. I appreciate that. And I do see a lot of linkage from your site on this free tracker I use. So yeah, I appreciate the links. I do see a lot of people coming from that particular your site. And you can plug it.
And remember, that's only the private part. I have truthin7minutes.com where anyone can visit that, and I don't list anyone who I trust on that site for a couple of reasons. Number one, the big reason is because if the shows find out who I trust, they're going to attack you. I mean, that's just what it comes down to. Anytime I've mentioned someone who has never been heard of before that I mentioned, then they start attacking them. So it's really to protect you. So you're getting very small amount of traffic compared to my free traffic that I have at my site. And, you know, I'm going to be blogging a lot more Truth in 7 Minutes. In fact, I have this whole big post about, you know, if that nonsense about, I'm losing my mind, about, you know, if you have got nothing, you got nothing to worry about, nothing to hide, nothing to worry about. I've got a huge blog post I'm going to be posting probably on Monday. And I list dozens and dozens of examples that no one has ever thought of that would just blow you away when it comes to privacy and, you know, nothing to worry about, nothing to hide, et cetera. So when that comes out and someone like yourself has something that would add to that particular blog post, I'll link to that. So that's the funny thing is, as soon as I went with the paid back in December, you know, the people who I used to talk to now don't mention my name. It's this other guy that I listen to on rare occasion, and I really don't understand that. And as far as disagreeing with people, you know, it's when I say, well, you agree to disagree. I disagree with that. I think, you know, I won't talk to someone who is, you know, not 95% thinking the way that I'm thinking. I mean, if you're 50-50 with the way I'm thinking, I don't think you're a real person. And I don't want to waste my time talking to someone who is going to argue with me all the time. It's just not worth it. There are too many other people where that percentage, I think, is way up there.
Yeah, well, I actually you've entertained me. I've listened to most or all of your shows. I don't have we have some differences about different things, but I find you entertaining. You've been in this business a long time. Like I said, I can't even remember the exact differences I have with you. It doesn't really matter because.
Well, you see, no, I would like to talk about those differences because maybe I'm not communicating the proper way. I mean, let's talk about the differences.
Well,
are you up for that?
No, we could. If I haven't given a ton of thought right now. My mind is scattered everywhere.
Are you a religious person?
No, not at all.
So we agree on that.
But no, I wanted to talk. I knew, and I had it. Well, you just made a post. I wanted to make this broadcast a little bit more about this 9/11 Mysteries thing and this Sophia person that I had never heard of before, and I'm only bringing it up tonight because I haven't heard about it, and that's why I posted the 2 videos on radio.aberrato.info, episode 46, and of course you got in there right away. I don't think there's a person that has uttered the words 9/11 publicly that you don't know or don't have a comment on. So actually I wasn't surprised that you were the first one to make a comment. So why don't we just talk a bit about that for a bit?
Sure.
We can meander into whatever our differences are. But have you seen this movie that she's created, and have you seen the press conference that I posted after that? That's fairly interesting, actually. And give me the Coles notes or the whatever notes that you have on this one.
She's featured on the History Channel. I'm done. There's not much more that has to be said. I mean, you really don't have to go beyond that, and that's what I posted as a comment on your blog. I'm like, you're having her on? Really? I mean, come on. She's on the History Channel.
Well, I don't get the History Channel, so I didn't even know that.
So, I mean, you know, isn't she the one pushing controlled demolition?
Yeah, I just finished watching her movie, and yes, there's not much on her thing that she created this movie 9/11 Mysteries that I actually agree with. So it seems almost like a relic from the past, the movie. So yes, that's pretty much where she is.
And she said she invested tens of thousands of dollars into making this movie?
Yes, that was the other note I made about the movie. And the question is, where would you get the money? Why would you invest that money? So yes, another tip-off that she's probably not real.
And the first thing that hit me was that, and I don't think you have it on I think you took it down, was that she was reluctant to come on because she was afraid of negativity, right?
No, I don't think I took it down. I don't know. Oh. I think I posted on 2 different computers, and one of them wiped out the other, I think.
Okay.
I might have. Yes, I definitely. Well, I'll just say it right now. I did talk to her I had a hell of a time getting a hold of her. I couldn't find any contacts anywhere. And then I found a form on one of her web pages somewhere that somebody might have pointed me to, and she did respond. I did talk to her, and yes, she didn't know who I was, and I just pointed her to a broadcast, and then she pretty much declined. So
yeah, I mean, it's like when someone emails me, they get an autoresponder message saying, I don't respond to all messages. If you want me to answer questions, I now charge for it, just so you know. But if someone were to ask me, just like when I was on, what's her name?
Joyce Riley?
Yes. When she emailed me, I mean, literally within an hour, I emailed her back, and I'm responding to people. I'm not hiding from people. I'm not asking, who are you? Those are all very, for me, telling little hints whether someone really wants to talk or not. And if they say that they want to spread the truth, quote unquote, but they're being picky choosy, and the first question is, well, who are you?
Yes.
That's a big sign. And unfortunately, there's not a single person out there that is well known that I trust, and this once again confirms it, which is really sad.
Yeah, but do you listen? So you wouldn't listen to this person at all say anything about anything?
No. Nope.
You wouldn't even waste any time listening to any of her views?
Well, you know me, I'm big into solutions. What solutions? What's the bottom line punchline with her? How is she going to improve my life?
Right.
Well, I'm not hearing any of that. And now, to be fair, I have not watched the entire video. In fact, this is the first time I've seen it since you recommended it. And I watched I used the YouTube. What's that called when you skim through the? What I'm talking about. You kind of skim through the video. The playhead feature.
You just advance the thing quickly through the movie.
I think it's called scrubbing or something like that.
Oh, is that right?
So I just went through the video, and every time I let go of the advance it to the next spot, it was like I'm rolling my eyes again. I'm like, okay, enough. And then I always go towards the end, see what the punchline is, and while I was doing that, I was also thinking about a little bit of the interview she had where people were asking her, was she the person who created the movie? And, $10,000 turned into $30,000. I don't think I would invest $30,000 into something. I'm passionate, but I'm not that passionate.
Yeah.
So, like you said, where's that money coming from? What's the purpose of it? What's her bottom line? What's the punchline? And what's the solution? And it was just red flags all over the place for me. But, and you're very quick to pick on this. I mean, you've only been doing this for a year and a half now?
Pretty much.
So in a year and a half, you've got this BS detector nose that took me, since 2005.
Right. Well, maybe there was just less information back then, but yeah, it's.
Well, there was no one to help us, to guide us through. I mean, I had to literally learn this all on my own. So, there was literally nobody out there to point out all the red flags. And now, Chris talks about it, you talk about it, I talk about it, Robert Lego talks about it, and a few others. So, I'm really impressed, by the way, with Lynn from Sandy Hook Hoax. Have you been to her blog?
I have her blog on my RS reader, and by the way, I use Feedly now. Google Reader is shut down.
That's right.
Anyone who wants to continue
on
with,
I remember that.
Try
Marcus Allen. There you go, in front of your ears. Recommended Lynn's blog. Now, that's just my opinion, my observation.
I have seen it.
But let's go back and listen to it.
Oh, no, but she covers, in fact, the title is a really bad title because she's beyond Sandy Hook. Her latest one, if you go to Sandy Hook Truth it's a redirect, wordpress.com.
Right.
The last post she has right now, June 27, 2013, actually sort of, I think, helped her. I don't know if she'll admit that, but She just did a post that will just knock your socks off about Agenda 21 and faked weather. In fact, I might actually do a video of her blog post and just walk through the video and kind of explain it a little bit more in detail. It is an absolute must-read, probably one of the top 3 blog posts I've ever read about critical thinking in my life. It's that good.
Beautiful. Very good. Yeah, I'm just looking at it now. I must have, is that Bill Clinton? Boy, he's lost all his weight. He looks like he's got some illness. I'm just scrolling down into the blog post that you just mentioned there. It doesn't look too great. Yeah, I'm going to add.
She has a sniffer that she puts me to shame. She puts Simon Shack to shame. I've spoken to her. I know, actually, you've contacted her, and I think she might have blown you off. She blows a lot of people off. I actually spoke to her.
Well, she just said she was afraid of doing audio.
I don't blame her. She's definitely not into.
She didn't have her voice morpher at the time. Isn't that right, Marcus?
The things she finds are, like I said, she puts me to shame, and I think I'm pretty good at finding this kind of stuff. I'm nothing compared to her. I'm bowing down to her, and I don't bow down to anyone. It's very good. So I would definitely bookmark that. She's one of the 7 people in my who do I trust, I think, RSS feeder that's on my private site. So, I mean, this is, and she's not well known. But by the way, she actually gets thousands of visitors like a day. So she's really under the radar, and a lot of people, if you read the comments, you'll find that these people are, they talk like us. They're getting it. They get what's going on.
Mm-hmm. I'll have to look into her. I just re-added her to my Feedly. She obviously dropped off, so I wasn't tracking her. So you think she's real? Have you had any kind of conversation with her or chat with her?
Yeah, I had a conversation. I'm troubled the fact that she's military. Her husband's military. I'm not happy about that, as you know. Mm-hmm. But that's literally the only red flag that has come up. Well, actually, that's not true. She actually had a private group. She invited me into the group, and then she quit the group but didn't tell me about it. So I went to go log in, and it said that my login wasn't valid. And I don't know if she has another group, and she kicked me out, and I didn't realize it. So I don't know. But I'm just thinking out loud.
Yeah, well, you got to. You got to listen. We're all suspicious. I'm suspicious. You're more suspicious, according to others. So it's just doesn't matter in my mind. Just keep your wits about you. It's just the nature of this stinking business.
But here's the thing, though. If you're suspicious about me, or someone says that they're suspicious about me, I pick up the phone and I'll talk to anyone. And you know that. Yeah, you invited me to call in. Bam, I call in. Do you think Alex Jones is going to do that?
Well, he's got too much money invested in the system, so of course.
Do you think Alan Watt would do that?
I don't know. I don't really listen to him, but from what you've said,
do you think Jim Fetzer would just? If you like, hey Jim, I don't trust what you're saying about this, and I'm calling you out on that. Can you give me a call so we can talk about it? Do you think he would call you?
I think he would call, but he is so good at controlling. I would probably have a hard time. I'd like to have him on at one point. I'm not sure if I should do it alone.
Oh, you need like a tag team?
Well, no, you know what? Because he's so good at what he does, and you can't deny it. He's on the air hours and hours a week. I'm not. I've told everyone knows this is not my job. This is just something I do as a bit of a hobby. A, computer, B, radio, play Mr. Radio, and C, this 9/11 stuff. So it's all 3 melded into one. But it's his business though. So yeah, I would probably want to have someone like you, maybe a couple others that are able to, anything that slips by me, then maybe they could just be the backup, like in baseball, right? You line up so the ball doesn't, if the ball gets by one guy, the next guy can grab it, and just because it has to be fair. So if I was
for me, I would never get myself in that situation. I would never want to talk to a Jim Fetzer, knowing that I'd have to have a tag team of other people who can catch how he mind fucks us with his language. That means that guy's not real. I mean, real people don't do what Jim Fetzer does.
Well, if he's not real, I'll explain again. I've listened to him mainly because he's the only I found consistent guy talking about 9/11 and to a lesser thing JFK. And a couple people recommended other radio shows. I haven't really got into them. I don't know if Rents, for instance, is one of them. There might be a couple others, but you would know because I think that's your number one when it comes to knowing who's who in this thing.
Yeah.
But Fetzer, I think, is the main guy, and he does have interesting guests. And this Sophia person was on talking about Sandy Hoax, and she made some really, really good points, nuggets, as we call them, and it got me kind of looking into her. And
right. But they all give us good nuggets. They have to.
They do.
Yeah, because we wouldn't listen to them if they didn't, yeah.
No, and it's good stuff. So I did listen to her. Let me put this on snooze. I got a new backup program on my computer now, and I think it kills the bandwidth. So let me put it on snooze, just in case. Hopefully, I'm coming through well. But I've got one of these IP phones, and I can't hear the person because of the backup program sucking all the bandwidth. Right. I had another. I'll just do a little bit of computer advice to anyone. I used Carbonite for a while, but I've got rid of that. I think everyone should have an online backup. And now I switched to Crash Plan, which seems a little more flexible. You can actually back up to other people's computers that have Crash Plan running. I don't know if you have to pay for it to do that, but I probably will pay for it and it's $4 a month to back up to the cloud. So I would recommend that.
You should like charge for people who want to do, like, you should charge like get Chris Kendall on board, because there's always problems with his broadcast and stuff. It's amazing.
Well, no, I was talking to Chris. I said, Chris, I love your shows. I don't like their 5 hours though, but
right.
I do listen to most of them. I chop them up through the week because I can take 2 hours of anybody, and then I have to switch to somebody else. I need variety. But yeah, I was talking to Chris actually, and I said, my setup is a pain in the butt to get going. I know TalkShoe is just so easily set up, and I think Pal Talk is the same. You just log in and go, right? Everything is taken care of, but the bit rate is so low that it is very hard to hear people talk.
Trying to call in with Skype is, I don't know why people are so insistent on doing that when, I mean, I'm paying $16 a month for a all-I-can-eat long-distance plan.
No, I understand what you're doing. Well, Skype is good for many, many reasons. I have to use Skype because that's the only way I can pump in my audio. I couldn't do it through a phone. There are fewer and fewer people anywhere in North America, probably worldwide, that use hardwired phones anymore. For instance, I got rid of my hardwired phone last year. It was almost $35 a month. Now I'm paying $0 a month for what's it called, Magic Jack Plus, and it's 90% good enough for me. So I'll recommend that.
It works for you, but like Brian Staveley, holy crap, that's like, you really have to be committed to want to hear his show.
No, you're right, absolutely, and his smoke alarm too drives me nuts. But yeah, for sure.
I sent him a battery. Did you know that?
Yeah, I know you said it quite a few times.
It was the wrong.
But fidelity-wise, Skype calls can be amazing. I have talked on Skype through my laptop, through my cellular data connection, and it's very good. So it really is very dependent on how you're hooked up to the internet, though. So if you've got a decent broadband or high-speed internet connection, it's really good. So, yeah. But so I put in some effort on my audios. When I'm done the call, I levelate it. So if you're too loud, then it will cut you down so we're all at the same level. So when you come
I have
on,
that program. It's a great program.
Yeah, it's called Levelator. It's free.
Mm-hmm.
But even Audacity has different things that you can grind the audio through. So if you put a little effort into it, make it a pleasure for people to listen to, they'll listen to the most meaningless drivel, which might be my show. So, but as long as it sounds good, sometimes it's people hang in, right?
Well, first of all, you don't do drivel. I wouldn't listen to it because I do listen to it, and I wouldn't waste my time if it was. But this, I cordially disagree. This Skype thing, and it's getting worse. Skype is it's not getting better, it's getting worse. Ever since Microsoft took over it, it's horrible.
Well, maybe. I don't have a big problem with it, but give me an alternative and I'll try that. I can't use a real phone.
Free, you want the whole thing live, right?
I do use, yes. I like that.
Use what I use, which is free conferencecallhd.com.
Yeah, I think I looked at it. I don't have a problem with this setup right now, but
I'm saying for anyone else like Chris or Brian, this whole thing trying to do it live and talking to 6 people is like, and if people can't hear you, then you're never going to get more than 6 people.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. But whatever you're doing is working because you've got all these backups and the fidelity is really good, and you've got the bumper music and all that kind of like what Adam Curry does. Now, I mean, Adam Curry has taken it to a level that's off the charts. But then again, he has John Dvorak who's going through Skype, and there's always problems with that. There's never a problem with Adam's connection. Never.
Right. No, I agree. And you turned me on to that show when we're talking about No Agenda. I do like the show. I haven't paid for it. I'm not willing to pay right now for it. And I know that if what he says is true, if the donations are really what he says, and who knows if it's true or not, because, again, we have to just assume that it's all probably BS in a lot of ways. But he's making a pretty good buck. And when someone asked me about you, I thought that probably got you going.
No.
Thinking,
I actually had a conversation with him before I recorded the call when I interviewed him.
Yeah.
And I believe him. I don't think he's making... You have to realize I was the only person who asked him if he was broke. And he admitted he was broke.
I don't think he's broke, though. I think he just listened to him. He has his wife, Mickey, that's flying all over the place. She obviously makes money. And just count some of the money that he's getting in. The knighthood is $1,000. So I know it takes...
He brings in about $160,000 a year. But he has to split that in half.
Right, and I don't think it's a full-time job what he's doing. He puts in, he does a 2 to 3 hour show twice a week. I know there's a lot of time doing research, similar to what you probably do all the time, all day long. So there's a lot of time invested, and it is pretty interesting stuff. The sound effects get a little tiresome, but they're kind of fun. Actually, I wanted to duplicate a bit of them. I have no shame. I don't mind ripping off ideas from other people, but I do attribute them. Them. I've mentioned your name before if I have something to say, and I have my own. There's my sound effects. I got a few. They're kind of fun, but they're kind of annoying after a while.
His is the only other broadcast that I actually look forward to listening to.
Right.
Like, I'm glad it's Thursday. I can download it.
Sorry about that.
Can you make that louder?
Yeah, sorry.
His is when it's Thursday and I get back because Thursday is my day, I go out and I'm writing for my other website that I do, and I'll finish writing. And I can't wait to download that Thursday broadcast.
Yes.
I can't say that about anyone else.
Well, I'm
like, I can't wait to run home and go listen to it.
Well, I don't run home for anybody, but no, I find it good. Little too much. tell you what they're doing, but it doesn't matter because you'll never hear about it. So It's not like they're passing laws without going through the motions. So that is what's really quite good about what he does.
But some of the things that he talks about, like he thinks, for example, Nelson Mandela was dead a few days ago. He was right. He was right.
Is he dead yet?
He was dead a couple of days ago, and they waited for Obama.
No, but is he officially dead?
Yeah.
Oh, he is. Okay. I keep looking at the news, and I can't tell if they're saying he's dead or not. I don't. That's how unclear it is. It's almost like a psyop in itself, like you're just saying there. No, he's still ailing. I'm just looking at real-time coverage at news.google.ca. He's still ailing, so maybe he will die in Obama's arms.
On Thursday, when I looked at it, they said he died. Let's see.
No, he's not dead. I'm sorry. Not dead yet. NDY. Will he die in Obama's arms? That's the question.
Right.
It'd be a great photo.
Did Nelson Mandela die?
No, go to real-time coverage.
Hero and Post.
All the tributes are already written. I think the parade route's set out. The burial plot is ready to go. I don't know how much longer Obama's going to be in South Africa.
Well, getting back to Adam Curry, I mean, a lot of the stuff that he says really expands my mind into looking at other stuff. Yes. He's kind of like he's an entertaining Alan Watt to me.
I could never get into Alan Watt. I tried many times. I couldn't do it. I know you kept talking about him. I kept trying.
I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you. Go ahead, Kim.
It's okay. There's a lag in the audio. I don't mind. Go ahead.
Alan Watt did a 10-minute intro, I think on, what's today, Saturday? I think on Thursday. Mm-hmm. It's so good that I'm literally going to do, I do this occasionally. I'm going to take the audio and I'm going to run 10-second snippets of what he says, and I'm going to further expand on it. It was so awesome that I really want to steal it for myself, but I don't do that. So I'm going to give him credit.
You listen to every show of his? You hang in there?
Not every show, because it depends on, of course, the first 5 minutes is him begging, saying that no one's donating, which is a pile of crap. I interviewed his fiance, and so it's just that's constant. And the reason that he does that is because it works. That's why you're probably suspicious of Adam Curry being not broke, because that works. When you tell people that you're broke, people will make donations.
I don't know which psychological way works. I really don't, because you don't want to give to a loser. You want it. People are social. They want social proof, as you said. So I'm not donating to someone no one donates to. Now, if I know all these guys are contributing and they say, well, I've been a boner for all this time, it actually inspires me to donate. So I think it's the opposite. It really does. I'm not going to be the only donor of a show.
All I can tell you is that I've spoken to over 30 different Alan Watt donors at 30 different times who have donated obscene amounts of money because they thought they were the only ones helping him.
That's what they say. You don't know. You can't tell. You can't verify any of that.
No, but these are redneck listeners who I've talked to privately, who are like, because then they found out, they listened to my fiance, the talk I had with the fiance, and they were really upset because they thought that they were literally just helping them just get by. Alan Watt allegedly always has $100 cash in his wallet. His refrigerator is stocked to the gills. Yeah. He has tons of money coming in. People donating computers and satellite systems to him. And by the way, Jeff Rentz did the same thing. Jeff Rentz, you should read the stories about Jeff Rentz, and if they're true, they're mind-boggling how much money he has.
But let's address the conflict you just brought up. You said you don't listen to people that you don't think are real. So why are you listening to Alan Watt? Because he's clearly not on board anything that you.
Let me rephrase that. I don't listen to people who don't, where the pros don't outweigh the cons is probably the best way to say it. Now, so I will never listen to James Fetzer. He never provides anything that is, makes me look in different directions ever. Never.
No, he provides guests though that talk about different things that.
But when you find out when you look into the guests though, they just really are just like, you're kidding me.
Well, it's a lot of shillery. Mm-hmm. But let me just, I just made a few notes on this Sophia person. And there's one part, you see, every now and then I have to find a part that, because this person is out there, this person says nuggets, and you have to remember where everyone else is in this 9/11 revelation and where you are. We're miles, there's miles between us. So
I spoke in the hallway with Brian, who told me that he was.
What I just clipped a little piece of what she had to say.
Brian said things to me that I had never thought of before. The responses that he has to the reaction.
So I'm just clipping a piece here of the press conference. It's in a YouTube link. If you go to my site, radio.aberrato.info, click on episode 46 where we've got Sophia. And Marcus and I are just talking about her now, and she's pretty shilly, but she's been on the scene recently on the Fetzer show. She's talking about 9/11, her movie that I just watched tonight. I stayed awake through it. Let's put it that way. I usually fall asleep. I caught myself almost falling asleep a couple times, but I sort of stand up when I'm watching videos now because it's hard to fall asleep when you're standing up. Just sitting on the couch, I usually doze off when I'm not interested. So I did want to do it because I said this was homework tonight for the show. So, but the press conference was sort of more interesting, and she did say one thing that I wanted just to play. Let me just zoom into 5043 here on YouTube here. And this is just what she said that just caught my interest. And she does say stuff like this all the time. So listen.
Well, I think none of us have the complete picture. It's almost like, when you become a teenager or enter your 20s, you want to know the meaning of life because suddenly it dawns on you that it's not about getting up, going to school, taking tests, and finding friends. It's about something else, right? So everybody tries to tell you, and everybody has a piece of it. And you like this thing that this 80-year-old person told you, and you like this other thing that this 35-year-old person told you. So I feel that it's up to us to look at the panorama of information. Even from mainstream news, you can get tidbits that are just really important and true. But your gut has to become a sensor system. And it will. I was out in the hall with somebody and I told him a bunch of things from, I don't know why. I just spoke very authentically and privately. And he said, how do you know all this? Is there a book I can read where I can find all this out? And I said, no. And he said, you just put it all together. And I said, yes. And it could be wrong. There might be elements that are wrong. There might be half of it that's wrong, but you will learn. And to me, that's why this whole journey is so freeing. It's like skiing through the ethers and getting it, and never becoming tired. And that is 100% different to how I have lived life. Slogging away, looking in the newspaper for a job, figuring out what I should wear, how not to offend this person. That's not a good way to live. So.
Anyway, I wanted to play that. Let me just try
what does that mean? What did that mean for you?
Oh, hold on a sec. I got to turn it off now. I've lost track of where the hell I was watching that. I got 8,000 windows open, so.
Oh, I actually said that at the beginning. Were you here at the beginning? Oh, yes. It was Brad, the Conservative Republican. We did a live show.
Oh, there we go. Found it.
Just shoot your computer.
Off, yeah. Yeah, well, as usual, when I logged in tonight to do the broadcast, I had the blue screen of death. Beautiful.
Well, that's a PC for you, right?
No, I'm almost 100% convinced that there's definitely backdoors in all mainstream software. So,
sure.
Of course, you never had. Well, we've always had problems with Windows. I've been using it for 25 years, but now, unfortunately, because you're connected all the time to the internet, there's just no way, I don't think, is stopping anyone from reaching in and creating havoc.
Sure.
I don't know. There's just something about the audio that interested me. I'm just looking in the Skype chats. Robin is saying that there's no substance to any of her speech. It's vague,
and that's what I asked you. I mean, what did it mean?
Logical fallacies and valid facts. Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. Whatever she's using, I guess NLP that ropes me in. I don't know. There's something cute about her. Just I don't know. It's working on me in a small way. So I'm just relating how I'm getting it. Let's put it that way. So you're not telling me anything I don't really know, but she's just putting it in a way that's just real interesting.
Here's a question for you, Tim. Is there anybody in the 9/11 truth arena that told you something that was memorable?
Well, like she said, you just get little pieces from here and there, and I don't really write most of them down, but in her movie, there's nothing in there that's memorable. I thought this press conference was more revealing. That's why I kind of want to get some of these people on my broadcast, because I just want to know, what are you doing out there? Why,
I don't think you really want to know what they're doing out there, Tim.
Well,
if they were honest, you wouldn't want to hear it.
Well, yeah, probably not. But it's a real complicated psychological operation. That's what we've unveiled. I think we all are on that page.
But can't you explain? I mean, the whole reason I did Truth in 7 Minutes is because when I was the internet marketing guy, I hung out with the internet marketing mafia, and they told me all the formulas that have worked through the ages, which is you got to get your point across in 7 minutes, and that's why I named it truthin7minutes.com. But you can pretty much explain 9/11 in, 10 seconds? That it was basically a movie that we saw on TV? That was pretty much it?
Yeah.
Would that be safe to say?
Yeah, no doubt. It's a movie, and it's a psychological operation, and it's complete, and it's the template for all future mini ones that we've just been subjected to. Sandy Hoax, Boston Strong, Boston Marathon.
Yeah. That's all. You don't need to spend $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 on a video to say what happened on 9/11. It was a movie we saw on TV. That's all.
Right. Robin is on the line, your old friend. He wants to chime in.
Okay.
Good evening, Robin.
Hey, what's going on?
How are you, Robin Fisher? I'll give you credit again. You did the logo.
Don't worry about it, man. It's all good.
No, I want to let everyone know you have some graphical talent.
I usually let them know. It's good.
Do I?
Never mind. I got a question for you, Marcus.
Okay.
When you say to Tim you don't want to know what these people are up to past their little gig, what do you mean by that? How far do you think this goes? All these psyops, past 9/11, all your research, how far do you really think this goes?
I'm not sure.
What do you think this entails? The whole New World Order, the Old World Order, all the psyops they're doing, the Food and the Water, the Alex Joneses, all the way down to the guys bombing emails on YouTube for no apparent reason other than to distract, polarize, and deceive. What do you think about this whole net that is over this planet? How far do you think all this goes?
I'm still not sure what your question is.
Let me try and rephrase it, because I've had this question asked of me as well. I had a listener who said he can't listen anymore because he thinks, and I think Robin has said this to me, and he's asked you a couple times, but we take all these steps. We find out 9/11 is fake. We find out it's a movie. Then we find out it's part of a bigger psychological operation. And then we discover almost everything we're told is probably somewhat of a lie. Okay. Then we try and answer, okay, who is perpetrating this? Who's above us? Is it just random psychopaths that try and mimic each other? Is there a big meeting somewhere? Is there a big religious overtone? Is it the old money that's never ever gone away? Is it even higher than that? Is it spiritual, where I think maybe sometimes Robin is? So, but the person...
that's what I'm wondering. Don't give him the whole answer. Let him answer for himself. I
just want to tell you the one listener, and it's not you, because I think you still listen to me sometimes. But there was one listener, I won't mention his name, who said he can't listen anymore because he thinks I should be going to the next step. And he says, where are you taking the show? And I said, well, I'm just exposing 9/11 and PSYOP because it just keeps coming up over and over again in mini PSYOPs. I don't really have anywhere further to go. So I'm being accused of stopping, almost gatekeeping at a certain point. So I think Robin is asking you what's next. And I know you always move to solutions, but go ahead. Give us whatever you want to say.
Oh, yeah, just answered it. I look for ways to improve my life as a selfish human being, because it has hit me really hard and is very disappointing that every time I try to figure out what my meaning of life is, it comes up the same, which is nothing. It's slavery. We're slaves. That's it. So I am now a very selfish person. I went my entire life being the opposite of that. I would think of everyone else before myself. I was the last one to get paid when I had a business that I started from scratch and built it up pretty big. And that bankrupted me. And people didn't appreciate it. They didn't appreciate me, that's for sure. And I'm now scratching my head, having the midlife crisis right now at age 46, having marital problems, all the problems that are given to us on purpose, and saying, you know, what is my meaning of life here? Why am I doing all these things? So that's really what it is for me. I'm very selfish. I admit that. I'm talking to Tim. I have a private site. I invest way too much time on this stuff because I'm trying to figure out what my meaning of life is and what my next move is. It's constantly a moving ball. So I might change my mind. Imagine that. And I got in a lot of trouble changing my mind, going over 4 years doing stuff for free than charging for it. But as I've said before, the reason I charge for it is because people take it really serious. It's been fantastic. Ever since I made that switch, the quality of discussions that we have now are far superior than they were when I was doing the stuff for free. So for me, to make the long story short, I'm being selfish. I'm trying to figure out what my meaning of life is. I'm finding that when I discuss solutions, my stress melts away, my health improves, all kinds of good things come from solutions. Now, who runs the thing at the top, I think is incredible. I disagree vehemently with Chris Kendall about this. I'm sorry, not Chris Kendall. I take that back. It's Robert Lego, who I love talking to Robert in Los Angeles. He thinks it doesn't matter who's at the top. It's a waste of time to talk about. I vehemently disagree with that. And the only reason I think it's important to even discuss, even if it means being wrong, is because if the people at the top know that we know, things change. And I told a quick story about this. I hacked into Twitter. I'm a hacker who does for good. And I hacked into Twitter and was able to hack into an internet marketing conference. And I used to be a member of this group.
How do you do that? Because I don't even understand that. I'm a computer guy, so give me a hack into Twitter.
Well, what he did is he gave out a private hashtag of his event. Okay. So he had 2 TV screens at this huge conference. So people who were typing and twittering and tweeting thought it was private. I found out what the code was, and all of a sudden my messages started to show up on this huge 2 screens. Okay. It's like,
he was just doing a Twitter display of a particular hashtag, sort of a live stream of everyone at the conference banging away on their smartphones, right?
But it was private, and I was able to find out what the code was. So now I'm sitting there typing whatever I want, and it's showing up on 2 big screens, and people, I understand it was crazy, and they didn't know how to turn me off. It was an absolute nightmare. But
what were you doing, tweeting porn?
I was tweeting how every time there was because I had people who started following me very quickly, and I was like, this speaker is bogus. He's a criminal. Look at all the people he ripped off. Look at his rip-off reports. I was linking to that. The conference people who were friends of mine were going absolutely ape shit and didn't know it was me. Someone figured out my writing style and figured out it was me. As soon as they said my name, what do you think I did?
I give up. Stopped?
I stopped. I was outed. I was scared. I was like, holy shit, they know it's me. And I stopped. I logged out. I was doing this for 3 days straight. I understand it was very entertaining too. So that's what I'm saying.
You better post the stream and show us. We need proof.
This is from about 2006, I think. So I think it's far gone.
All right.
Or maybe 2007, I think. But the bottom line is, I got outed and I stopped doing what I was doing. And I think the same thing can happen. If we discuss what's truly going on and start pointing the fingers on who's fucking us, then perhaps we can at least temporarily stop this. Maybe. I don't know. I don't have any other solutions.
Robin?
But I don't hear anyone else talking about that either.
What is that sort of where you're going with this,
Marcus,
Robin?
What's that?
Is that where you're going with that? Go ahead.
That was a really extended answer. But I was just wondering if things are speeding up and things are getting worse and psyops are happening more frequently and all of this control is over us, do you really think there's room to maneuver, Marcus? Do you really think that, like, they're not already thinking 2 steps ahead of what you want to do? Because when you say that you're selfish because of the game they're pulling, you've set yourself up to play by their rules.
Mm-hmm.
So you're basically a puppet for them when you become selfish like that. And when you look on Wikipedia for Curry and you like Curry so much, you like, the dude's chilling, man. Like, what do you...
Totally.
He's a super millionaire that, like, gets hashed out from all these settlements and shit, okay? And so, like, he's not broke, he's being pushed. So, like, he can't honestly, when all the cards are on the table, say he's doing any good for anybody. And I just wonder, like, why promote men like that yourself? And then at the same time, like, understand that you're falling into their trap so much, playing your own selfish card. And when you actually look at all the evidence out there, your views are pretty much what they're telling you. And
no, not at all.
They want you to believe that you're nothing and that you're death and that you just are a slave. And so that forces you to become selfish. That's what they've been pumping into people since they got into kindergarten, is that, this is the third rock from the sun with all the lies through the science, through education. And that's why we have the attitudes we have in this world. And like I say, you're playing right into that. And I just wonder why, if you were looking at all the cards on the table, if you've done as much research as you have, that you'd ultimately have to come to grips with, like, it's a conflict of interest of a lot of, like, what you believe in and what you do. Like, if you're in for the truth and you're into, like, help people and warn them of things, how can you honestly tell them that they're worthless and that they're nothing and that it's just life and then you die? Like, what type of hope do you give people? Because I tell you, a lot of people getting robbed from their lives, and you seem to think that, like, your little life is so perfect, even though you know all this stuff. And people are like, they get food cups now, like homeless people, because there's an epidemic up here in Canada of, like, homeless people now too, supposedly. And they're not going to get any help. And you're like, you blog about it, like that's what I mean. You're playing right into this.
Let me answer your questions real quick about Curry.
Let me just finish. I'll just go back to the premise here, is that it's only getting worse. This stuff is happening. It's not going to get better. They know they want it to get worse. That's where I was kind of going with this question, is that they want it to get so bad. They want it to be hell on earth. And that's how far I believe this goes. And you really don't address that. You don't put the urgency in people that, like, you got to really be aware and cautious in almost every single thought that you make, because they got it locked down that almost everything you know is from them. So when you think you're having an original thought that, hey, this might benefit someone, understand that they're the ones that pretty much have supplied that. But there is a way out, and that's to like understand that they want you to be certain ways. And when you understand these certain ways, like again, they want everyone to believe in death because it's a death cult out there. There's plenty of evidence for it. That's why the most popular gear out there is like Affliction, where he got the cross from like all the biker gangs, you know what I mean, with Jesse James or whatever his name is. They want all that death in the world, and like you got to really, I don't know. I just figured that you can't honestly align yourself with that if you're seeing that across the board.
Are you done?
Well, you keep not being able to understand me, so I kind of have to reiterate it in terms I think you can understand. Because every time I ask you a question, you just say I don't even understand the question. So it's like that's why I have to draw this out sometimes. I believe for you. Because I want a specific answer. You don't seem to come to conclusions too often. You're vague, and you like to equivocate a lot.
Well, let's do this. Why don't you ask me a very straight-up question, and I'll see if I can answer it in a straight-up way for you. Well, since you can't do that, let me answer your questions I think that you asked about Curry. I might be completely wrong. And Curry is still worth millions of dollars. I talked to Curry before my recorded interview with him. He told me some stuff that led me to...
Didn't you just say, though, sorry to cut you off, but didn't you just say that Curry said that the Mandela was dead?
No, he said.
No.
He says, "I bet you Mandela is dead for days, and they're going to roll him out or something like that."
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. He was implying that. I heard that particular show. That was sort of halfway through, I think, Thursday's show, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, because I'm just saying, you can't trust these false prophets, man. Like, if you can, like, how many speeches is Alex Jones giving out? He's like, tomorrow they're going to do this, and tomorrow they're going to do that. And that's one thing I really noticed with people like Curry and them out there, is they start making these predictions, and realistically, they have no ground to make those predictions.
But one of the things I like about Adam Curry, besides him being charming, which is one letter off from the word harming, he's entertaining, but he says things, and then if it doesn't come through, he's the only Pied Piper out there who says, you know what, I blew it. I was wrong. That means a lot to me.
Yeah, he's not bad. He's not bad. Just think of the question. Think of a specific question. The skewer mark is with you, Robin. I just want to play a little ID here. Remind everyone what they're listening to. You're listening to Wake Up with Ab. On this show, we talk about the biggest media hoax of our time, 9/11, and all the children she spawned since then. You can call us at 518-907-4904 or at Skype, contact ab.arato99. We're streaming 24 hours a day from radio.aberato.info, the same place you can find all of our archives. The show is usually live Saturdays at 8 p.m., but we may live broadcast any evening time as guests become available. Don't miss these shows by signing up at radio.aberato.info to be notified by email. Now, on with the show. All right, we're back. It's Saturday, June 29th, 2013. Episode 46 at radio.aberato.info. On the left, we have Marcus Allen. On the right, Robin
I thought I was on
Fisher.
the right.
I don't know. You guys in the corner. I don't know. You're in a corner anyway.
I'm not trying to be a brute. I just like people who make firm stands on things when they realize that there's like a real imbalance when they look at something objectively. And I just wanted to ask Marcus why, when he notices this stuff, that he still aligns himself with it.
You mean with Adam Curry?
That and also you're just some of your simple beliefs that led you to your selfishness that you say. You know, like just certain things you believe, because like I say, those are things they are pushing on people to believe.
When you say pushing on people, I want to be very clear about this. I'm using as Adam Curry calls it, what was it, a programmatic or something like that?
A performative.
A performative.
No, it's called a performative. I thought that was brilliant. Actually, I'll play that. I'll let everyone know what a performative is.
Language is a complicated world, especially when we're trying to understand how language differs when someone's telling the truth versus lying. Now, one thing that is common is that when people tell the truth, they tend to use the words like I, me, and my at higher rates than when they're lying, except under one circumstance. And this circumstance is one that was first studied by philosophers, and specifically a guy by the name of John Austin. Austin studied something called performatives. An example of this would be, I want you to know I'm holding a shovel. Now, in reality, this is not a shovel. Nevertheless, what I just said, is it true or not? I want you to know I'm holding a shovel. In a weird kind of way, that's true. Why? Because the first part of that sentence, I want you to know, is true. I do really want you to know I'm holding a shovel. Now, I'm holding a shovel is completely false, but that's not the premise of the sentence. And that's what a performative is. Now, it so happens that this is used quite a bit. And I've seen it a lot, especially in politicians. I'd like to begin with one of my favorite lies of all times, and one that you may well know from Bill Clinton when he was president.
But I want to say one thing to the American people. I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky.
Was that stunning or what? We just heard 3 powerful performatives right in a row. I want to say one thing to the American people. I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relationships with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. What he said was technically true. I want to say this again. I didn't have sex with that woman. Well, he did. He was saying it again. He was being completely honest, except for the minor part about the big lie part. But from a pure linguistic and logical, philosophical perspective, he was telling the truth. Let's finish this with a few recent presidents and other people who use performatives without any judgment on whether these people are telling the truth or not.
I want to say this to the television audience. I made my mistakes. I just want to tell you that when we negotiate, as I say, on my side, I've got $22 billion.
And the American people have got to understand this, that this program won't go forward.
And I want everybody to understand that this is a jobs issue.
That was good. That was really, really good. I know it's a little distraction. And I had to dig up this one clip. You got to listen to this. This is one of my favorite all-time clips from plastic President Clinton here.
It depends upon what the meaning of the word is.
You remember that one? It depends.
So it's funny you bring that up, because I was just going to ponder the idea that Bill Clinton has never even seen Monica Lewinsky before, because remember, life is scripted. Is it possible that the lie is even a lie?
Well, that was sort of the theme about Wag the Dog, that movie.
Right.
They sort of brought in this whole Monica thing. Yeah, and it was a complete distraction. Well, I don't even remember what real thing he was supposedly doing somewhere else, maybe bombing Bosnia or something. But sorry, I cut you guys off.
Aspirin factory 30 days before the movie came out, or after the movie came out.
Oh, did he? I don't even remember. But that's the whole point of it, right? The whole Monica thing distracted everyone from whatever might have really been happening. And
what I'm saying is, if I were a betting person, the way the media and the military has done things, that even that even him lying about Monica Lewinsky is probably a lie. He probably has never even seen the girl before. It's just part of the script.
Yes.
I'm just pondering that. That's all.
Yeah, you have no idea what's going on, but then
we get on what the meaning of the word is.
That's so ridiculous. That line is so ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. And that's how deep
and
it
that
got.
was divide and conquer totally. I mean, you had everyone's like, well, is a blowjob sex? Is a blowjob not sex? That went on for, I remember, weeks at a time, that kind of discussion.
And then what is the word is? What does it mean?
What is the word is? Right.
That is so deep down the dead end rabbit trail. It's amazing. Now then we break up the word is. What is I? What is S? Where do letters come from? Who brought us letters? Why did they bring the alphabet to us? It just goes on and on and on. Actually, I think, Robin, you said that once, what the alphabet was. That there is a story behind that, right?
Yeah. There's well, obviously that just goes back to the beginning of people, but that's what I mean. Like it seems to me, just grilling Marcus there, that they want you to believe all this. It just goes on and on and on. But there was a beginning to all of this, and they don't want you to understand the importance of any of that. And they just want you to live a selfish life. And
yeah, but how do you know what the beginning really was? You weren't there.
Well, that's what I mean. When you put every card out on the table, you start to notice the patterns. You start to see similarities. You start to see the way that they think about you. And then you're just like, whoa. And then you start catching on to this shit. And the next thing you know, you have to say, there's no way I can be a part of this because I have morals, right? Ethics, because what they're doing is fucking wrong. Right. And any good man, self-respecting man, or respecting of others would warn people of that.
But it's wrong, Robin. It's wrong. It's wrong according to who?
You obviously have a seared conscience because you can't see that that's wrong to yourself even.
No, give me an example. What do you say that they're doing is wrong? And let's see if we agree with that.
Oh, well, you could even start. Well, you're asking me what it's all wrong. It's all.
No, I'm saying give me one example of what they do that's wrong, and let's see if we agree if it's wrong.
They use a fiat money currency.
I'm sorry, say that again. They use a what?
A fiat money currency.
Okay.
A fraudulent currency.
Let me take their side then. Do you have a better idea to replace the money supply?
Yeah, it's a standard weight and measure, and if you don't want to get with that, you get with getting with free stuff, and you give away everything, and you do stuff for free for everyone.
See, now that's interesting you talk about free, because I'm actually going to do a whole audio on why I think free has completely destroyed our world.
This is why I bring up free, Marcus, is because you would do something for free for your girlfriend. So why the hell is she so important than to the person who lives next to you?
Well, because
it's your problem that you can't connect as another human being to that person and do something free for them.
Well, that's a very simplistic way of looking at it. Do you think it's fair that the person who works the hardest makes the least?
Yeah, but you're looking at it from a very surface level of like this greed. You can get past greed.
I'm looking at the person who digs a ditch, makes $8 to $10 an hour here in the States. The guy who rips people off and is a psychopath makes billions. Is that fair?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that you're playing into the hands of what they want, so you're only making that psychopath richer.
I don't understand how that is. How is that?
Because you're acting out what they want you to act out so they can become the rich psychopath that they are. That's what I mean. If you started to act as you treat your neighbor as thyself and do free unto others outside of those who you do in your immediate family, then you make it sound like more progress in those psychopaths not being able to function, because people would start to see how ill-advised and ill-willed they are in trying to subvert others' attention into serving their purpose, and they give nothing back. And that's the thing that I'd raised questions with you before, is that you really don't know a lot of shit, and you don't give anything back to these people. You leave them around with equivocating, and the next thing you know, they're asking more questions, and you're saying, well, Adam Curry's so great, so they'll go and listen to you and go and listen to Adam Curry. And now you just let them down a stupid little hole that they can't get out of because they're listening to you saying this crap, man. You've got to start.
Hey, Robbie, now you're putting words in my mouth. I never said Adam Curry was so great. I said he's incredibly.
How many times do you want me to bring up your audios that like you say that you enjoy him, that you cherish him? Give me a break, man.
I don't cherish. Wait a minute. Well, let me. You don't need audios. You can get it right. You can get it right from my mouth right now. I don't cherish Adam Curry. I don't think that he's legitimate as far as his information goes. He goes way too much into politics, and I think we both can agree that that's nonsense.
It's not even just about Curry, man. You've really missed the mark on a lot of things out there, and I just.
Why do you keep interrupting me?
Well, because you're just, again, bullshitting, and I just think that you're trying to avoid, the fact that you know better about this stuff.
You just made an accusation. I'm trying to respond to it.
Well, again, you're just going to bullshit me, so what am I going to expect?
So then why'd you call in if you're just going to get bullshit from me?
I was going to listen to Tim, but then I figure, you just turn it into a marketing call and start talking about money all the time, and I'm like, that's why the rich psychopath is right there, is because he's getting you to play by the money game. And you're just like, yeah, let's do this. And meanwhile, you tell other people to do it. Then they become selfish. And next thing you know, you just fed the virus because it's an idea. And that's, you're planting bad seeds, man. Like,
so why don't you do this? Why don't you do an audio with Tim and go over this sort of thing instead of interrupting me? And then you can say whatever you want.
And start saying, like, man, maybe I'm wrong on some things.
I've said this a gazillion times. I've been wrong about so many things in my life. That's what pisses me off, is that I haven't had a father or a grandfather or someone I can trust.
This is the thing. I'm trying to help you here.
You keep interrupting me.
That's because you're just not getting the point here. You're not getting the fact that, like, you're looking at things in such a surface level. And then you're giving me the surface level answers that I'm just like, dude, I'm trying to help you here. And you're just like, fuck you.
Did I ask for your help?
That's why I've always had a beef with you, as well, other than you like thinking I was somebody else. That's what I mean. You thought I was somebody else. So how can I trust that what you're saying is true when you automatically pinned me as somebody else and you didn't even speak to me? And it's just like, that's why I got a beef with you, man. You really shoot before you aim. Mm-hmm. And if you did a bit of research, you'd start to see the patterns out there that, you're getting pushed on. And I feel sorry for you, man. I really do. Because I was never out to battle you. And you turned it into a, like, well, I don't like to make conclusions and have absolutes because that's religious. And I'm like, dude, get past those labels. And you're just like, well, you're crazy.
I don't remember ever saying that's religious.
Okay. Let's bring in a fresh voice here. Hey, let's bring in a fresh voice, because sometimes this confuses me, this conversation. I got Rollo from Australia. Welcome, Rollo. What's going on here?
Thanks for having me.
Welcome.
Okay. I've missed what you've been talking about, so what are you talking about?
I've been hammering on Marcus, because Marcus deserves it.
Oh, I thought you were listening and wanted to give
on the stream.
Yes.
Yeah, I tried, but the stream wasn't working well. It wasn't streaming very well. So.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry about that.
Okay. Oh, all right. No, I thought you could hear. Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought you wanted to chip in here, but no, everything should be working.
I was just going to listen this way. Are you? Is this a show, or is it you just chatting?
Oh, this is a show.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
We're doing a show right now.
On Marcus, I was just listening to. That's Robin, is it? There. Yeah.
Robin Fisher.
I was just listening to episode after Claire Coons. You and Marcus went at it. I think you were upset that he was trying to make money on it, on the whole 9/11 thing.
Yes, that's correct.
Money's like a root of all evil, and people should notice that by now. They should notice that they're being played on that money front, and so when you start to uphold it, you're really just feeding the system and the beast system that it is. And it's just like, there's ways to really destroy these mechanisms that they put over people's lives, but they're not cluing in that there's patterns here that they can like grab a hold of to not get into. And it's just, but it's too easy to, like, I don't know, for people that I see to tell you the truth, but at the same time they're playing by the evil rules, and it's just like, that's really counterproductive and counterintuitive.
Yeah, you said if you were going to do it properly, you would go and be a bum, live on the street or whatever it is.
Well, you do. I wouldn't say. Yeah, in some ways it has to get extreme, because again, otherwise you're playing into a lot of their traps, even covertly. You don't know it, but you are, and so it's like you have to go to extremes like that. But they're simple extremes if enough people actually cared to want to do it. But when you're feeding them half junk, they're always going to have one foot in the system.
Yeah.
So are you?
I shouldn't have said
Robin, are you a bum on the street by now?
I've already done that. I've done a bit of that. Yeah.
How'd that work out for you?
Actually, it was pretty good.
So why don't you continue it?
I'm thinking about it. Yeah. I've been gearing my life up to go back to that, to go back to somewhat of a missionary work too, where you help people out. You don't just become a bum. You actually go and you can do work for people. You help them out honestly as normal living human beings that are part of your immediate family for the most part. And you don't treat them as these outcasts that you laugh at, because you don't know if the guy was next to you in school who was like helping you with something, and you got like, you know what I mean? Like, you got to really have this empathetic and this compassion out there. Otherwise, nothing's going to change, because it's all just going to lead back to selfishness.
So I agree with that. So isn't that good for you to be, because you said that's what you want to do. Isn't that good for you to be a bum as a lifetime mission?
But you should know better that this life is a stepping stone. It's not.
No, but you're not answering. Please answer my. I just have the one question for you, Robin. Isn't that good for you that you decided to do that? Isn't that good for you? It's not good for me.
It's good for a lot of people, because
no, but that's good for you, right?
when I want to do it.
That's good for you.
No, it's good for the world. It's good for your soul.
I think you know where I'm going with this, and that's why you won't answer it. The bottom line is it's good for you, and
it's not a self-righteous movement. It's what needs to be done.
According
to go back to living in a natural time.
Who's telling us that we need to be a bum on the street to get the word out? Who's telling us this? Because I missed that message. Who's telling us this?
Because
seriously,
you have a corrupt mind and a corrupt heart, and you believe in whatever you can see in front of your hands. And so to override your ego, which is being played on, you have to go to a very charity stance. Okay, that means like selflessness, self-sacrifice, things that most people out there can't do, and because they have too much pride in life, especially the pride in their shitty little blogs that they have, thinking that that's some normal way to live as a human being that's been put on this earth. That's what I mean. You've adopted this worldview that they want you to believe that you're a little pissant, that you're nothing, and that your life means nothing to you. And so then, therefore, you just play by the rules, when realistically this is a stepping stone, my friend. This life means something, and you've shrunken from it, like 99% of the people out there, and you won't raise up and actually put the game back on an even playing field by giving up all of their bullshit. And then you can create something better if you wanted to, but realistically, you're going to have to really learn from where to not make the mistakes. But when you're acting on only what you can see in front of your hands, you're going to fall victim to that. So yeah, you got to give up everything. You got to be charity. That helps the world. And then the world can finally get an understanding back that it's lost probably so long ago because of how much this is sped up. And you're just,
Tim, are you willing to give up everything right now to spread the truth?
Well,
you don't spread the truth. It's a way. That's what I mean. You're missing the point. They want you to believe that this earth is nothing, that you mean nothing, and that this is all like just an imaginary dream. And so when you give that up, you're just hurting yourself. But when you give it up, you're showing what else is out there, truly. Past the NASA lies that there's billions of these stars that we call planets that we can't even verify as fucking planets. They're just light.
Yeah, I'm on board with that. And
so what I'm getting
right, but Tim, do you agree with his philosophy of whatever Robin's philosophy of what to do is? Are you on board with that?
I'm a little confused exactly. I think Robin wants people to withdraw from the system completely.
Yeah,
right.
And the
There's
system
not one inch of it.
No, I know what you're saying a little bit. I just don't know how to get out of it. I can't live off the land. There is no land that they don't own.
Okay, guys, right. I'm going to head off to bed, and you want to listen to the rest of that. There's still loads of it left, but I've put the link in there. You can see it on fakeologist.com, and I also have it posted on the View from the Bog. So, Jesus, doesn't time fly? Believe it's so late. So I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to say goodnight to Dave High over in Hawaii. I'll say goodnight to Mahatma Court. Real dude as well. PJ, may the dodos go with you. Cub Scout. Schlominger, Slow, good man. He does some really good sky observations. Catching the sprayers as they're still doing it. Yeah, good night to one and all yous. And flat earther, or not flat earther, I can't remember now offhand, but Flatlander, that's yeah, a good night to you as well, and Wanda. So listen, take care, guys. And Martin Lightkey was in as well. So all right, good night, guys. I'm going to shut it down, and have a good one.